Okay, stream died again. Sorry about that.
Are you gonna be okay?
I will be, as soon as I leave. I won't be working for these people anymore. I hope you use that Amin prism I gave you. Those poor people did not deserve such a fate. Ah, Hadia is gorgeous. I had the privilege of visiting some cities before the chaos. A few weeks before Palamists and Sabinians started killing each other, I was assigned here in Auriga to that psychopath, Dr. Mabden. They turned the entire country into their science experiment at the expense of all citizens of Hadia. For what? Progress? Science? This isn't progress or science. This is genocide. The Zeal Council orchestrated the whole thing. I don't know all the details, but I intend to play along for a few more weeks, steal some files, accumulate evidence, and then leave. I already have some, but I'm going to get more. I want to blow the lid on this whole operation. Someone has to pay for this. The peacekeepers were used to time everything perfectly. God forbid the Palamists and Sabinians start killing each other at the wrong time. And what if the ON finds out? Nothing will happen. The people in charge of this operation control everything. Think of something, anything. They either own it or have created it. That's how far this goes. Sabinians want what most people desire in life. Freedom. I remember reading a few articles about it. When that dictator died, Sabinian politicians wanted a democracy, a free market, and to rejoin the world. The Palamists wanted the same thing. Their inconsolable rift seems to lie in the nitty-gritty details of their history. I'm not sure I fully understand why they hate each other. I guess you need to be born here to understand why. Then again, I'm not sure the Hadians know why anymore. I can't help but have a soft spot for the Palamists. I see a lot of me in them. They remind me of my family back home. Close to the earth, strong family ties, and religious to the bone. If I ever get out of this mess, I'm going straight to the family farm, where I'll devour my mom's home-cooked meals. I'm still trying to figure out where the creatures are from. Weapons research, pharmaceuticals, biotech, and medical research are all working in silos. Each department concentrates on its own thing. There is no sharing of information or breakthroughs. I guess it prevents us from doing what I'm about to do. Blow the whistle on this whole operation. I grabbed as much stuff as possible when I got out of there. There is something they are not telling us. We know the time loops are a doorway, enabling the creatures to enter our world. We know this occurrence happens every 33 years on the 1st of January at midnight. What is opening the time loops? And to what end? Whatever it is, it's something I haven't seen yet.
Okay. Okay. I know we got isn't there another doorway in here or something? Maybe not. Thought there was. Okay, this is where the APC is. There was another doorway in here. Oh wait, there is. Oh, this is where this thing goes. Yep. Polearm of Rage. Okay. Ceremonial key. And what might we do with the ceremonial key? A war has ever been before man took his first breath, war lay in cosmic wait patient. The Elder's draft, the eternal trade, abiding its hour for the hands of its truce master, KM. Okay. Oop. Tuning stone. Alright, looks like that's it in here. That looks like it's it for Auriga Museum.
That's the last keystone. Let's return to the ancient forge and see if your father was right. Let me know if you want more information.
What am I supposed to do?
We must
Yeah,
return.
we know.
Let me know if you need more information on something. Nice. I'll have a look in the database.
This box contains prototype ammunition developed by the Cerebrum Division's Advanced Weapon Research Team. The prototypes consist of a limbic bullet mounted on a traditional brass casing and gunpowder charge. Peculiar properties of limbic materials such that the bullet's aerodynamics and flight profile differ from traditional bullets. It is unclear whether the ammunition is effective, as insufficient testing has been conducted at the time of writing. Project is part of a bid to bring limbic weaponry into modern age and promises to significantly bolster the ability of agents to handle limbic threats.
Interesting find. Let's see what the server can tell us about it.
Got a trophy for that. 773 AD, 3 years after the Bridal War began, Lord Umbra would unconditionally surrender to Lord Aster. This heraldic key was presented to Aster as a symbolic gesture of fealty. With his ally Lord Agao defeated and the second calamity still raging across the country, Lord Umbra chose to willingly end the conflict rather than shed any more of his subjects' blood.
I wrote a piece on several of the past calamities.
Oh boy. Here we go. Lots of reading. Alright. Limbic invasions, known as calamities by the general population, began by attempting to stop the religious wars that had almost wiped out Haitian society. The scholars of the Order of the Eye created the Eminia Shroud device capable of augmenting the Eye of God's emotional dampening effect to reach the entirety of Haiti. It was a success, however. In doing so, the scholars had inadvertently created their hell, cursing Haiti in a cycle of calamities that would span generations. Second calamity. The man who would be king, Lord Aster's ambition, ignites war and betrayal. After the first calamity, since silence fell over Haiti, the invaders had been destroyed along with the brutal religious wars. The land was finally healing. In 734, an obligarchy was, I know I mispronounced that, but was formed under the watchful gaze of the Order of the Eye. After heated debates in Labinia, power was evenly distributed among the four noble houses, two from the Palamas traditionalists, House Auriga and House Umbra, and two from the Sabinian reformists, House Aster and House Jahan. Haiti was divided into four provinces: Argula, Abraham, Asteria, and Janina. The Liberian alliance kept the peace for years, allowing people to prosper, but one man had grander ambitions. The rise of Lord Aster. House Aster had no interest in the alliance. Lord Aster envisioned himself as Haiti's sole ruler. Working secretly, he strengthened his military, secured its economy, and built alliances. The biggest obstacle was House Jahan, which refused to break from the alliance. Without their support, his conquest seemed impossible. Lord Aster appeared to accept the oligarchy, even arranging a marriage between his daughter and his daughter Femelo, and Lord Jahan's son Van. The wedding was set in Jelgin, a quiet town near Argula's border, but on the day of the ceremony, Lord Aster disguised his men as Argula's soldiers. They raided the church, massacring the guests. Though Femelo miraculously survived, Van was not so fortunate. Old hatreds reunited. Lord Jahan, consumed by grief, had no doubts, blaming House Auriga. Lord Aster had what he wanted, a war he couldn't lose. Second Reformist War. Despite House Auriga's pleas of innocence, Lord Jahan declared war. House Jahan and House Aster launched a relentless campaign committing horrific war crimes and demanding Lord Auriga's execution. Meanwhile, House Umbra remained neutral, ignoring Auriga's cry for aid. As the Reformists tore through Argula, the Order of the Eye scrambled to stop the bloodshed. Too late. They had failed to recognize Lord Aster for what he was, a warmonger. Their worst fears had came true. The Eye of God activated. The second calamity had begun. Argula burns. By the time the Reformers had nearly forced Argula into surrender, their brutality surpassed even the horrors of the old religious wars. House Jahan's soldiers showed no mercy, claiming vengeance for Van. Then time loops appeared, trapping moments of extreme violence. Soon after, the creatures emerged, attacking everything in sight. Lord Aster was furious. Argula was on the verge of surrender, and now these monsters had ruined his plans to invade Umbraham. Yet his pride and thirst for a throne blinded him. He ordered Lord Jahan to continue the campaign despite the chaos. Obsessed with revenge, obeyed. But Lord Umbra, watching the carnage unfold, could stand by no longer. He surrendered to Lord Aster, ending the war and crowning him King of Hadia. The Labinia alliance was gone. The noble houses swore fealty to House Aster, uniting under one banner. Armed with limbic weapons, Hadia's warriors systematically destroyed the creatures. Behind the scenes, the Order of the Eye worked tirelessly to close time loops. The second calamity was stopped. Now all eyes turned on the new king. Disturbing rumors. Rumors spread quickly. King Aster, it was said, was attempting to weaponize the creatures. Concerned, the Order of the Eye dispatched spies. Every trail led to a dead end. Any captured informants died before revealing secrets, even under torture. All paths led to whispers of a place known as the Auriga Museum, but its location and true nature remained a mystery. With no other choice, the Order of the Eye ordered King Aster's assassination. Like a serpent without a... Hang on. Controller died. One second. Actually, hopefully this controller's charged. Yep, a little bit. Worst comes to worst, I have to plug it in. Okay, no other choice. The Order of the Eye ordered King Aster's assassination. Like a serpent without a head, his kingdom crumbled. Once again, Hadia needed to heal. The Labinian alliance was revived, and the obligarchy was restored. The third calamity. Love conquers all, even death. The reign of Lady Margaret ends in tragedy. Fragile peace. Following House Aster's downfall, Hadia noble houses signed a new treaty, forming the Second Labinian Alliance. Peace, however, remained tenuous. The Order of the Eye, wary of history's brutal cycles, sought to prevent another disaster. The scholars theorized that violence triggered the emergence of timelets, a strange phenomena responsible for past calamities. Determined to suppress the conflict, the Order placed spies in every noble house, urging leaders to renounce violence as a mortal sin. Few embraced the doctrine more fervently than Lady Margaret of House Auriga. A woman whose devotion and peace and to her god, Sethras, would ultimately lead to catastrophe. The mother of Argula, Lady Margaret, revered as the mother of Argula, ruled without personal ambition beyond maintaining peace. Unable to bear children, she saw her subjects as her own, her love for them unwavering but increasingly obsessive. Her reign was defined by two policies, defense and religious decree. She would ensure her people survived the next calamity no matter the cost. Fortress beneath the earth. Determined to protect Argula, Lady Margaret diverted the treasury toward massive defensive projects. Walls enclosed every city, town, and village, but fortifications were insufficient. She commissioned an extensive network of underground shelters, calling upon miners and sappers to carve tunnels underneath Hadia. Greatest of these was Yumel Caves, a sprawling subterranean city near Trisk, capable of sheltering thousands, complete with schools, storage chambers, refectories, and chapels. The caves were stocked with harvest surpluses and designed to seal off completely in times of crisis. Argula was prepared for war, but Lady Margaret believed faith would be an even greater shield. Overbearing vigilance. Under Lady Margaret's decree, violence became the greatest sin. All crimes of violence, no matter how severe or trivial, were punished equally. Even minor altercations resulted in imprisonment or execution. The Solonza Watch, secretive watchmen, patrolled Argula, spying on citizens and arresting those deemed at risk of causing violence. Neighbors informed on one another. Fear spread like disease. Argula became a province of silence and paranoia. The rest of Hadia followed Lady Margaret's example, but the reformist province were more measured. Crimes were punished proportionally, and no citizen was encouraged to spy on their peers. The revolt. Years passed. Argula darkened. The people trapped in fear and austerity reached a breaking point. In secret, a rebellion formed. Nobles, commoners, peasants alike meeting within the very underground shelters meant to protect them. Their anger had festered too long. When the revolt erupted, it did so with merciless force. The rebels stormed Trisk, their fury unchained. Streets ran red in what would be remembered as the Trisk massacre. The city fell swiftly, but within its walls stood the Dalglav fortress, where Lady Margaret and her loyalists held their ground. A siege began. From atop the ramparts, Lady Margaret watched in horror. Her beloved people, her children, were butchering one another. Overcome with grief, she whispered, "Love conquers all, even death." Then, before anyone could stop her, she took a dagger and slit her own throat. Oh my goodness. Time loop formed around her, trapping her in an endless cycle of self-destruction while playing her final tragedy moment for eternity. Creatures abound. The Order of the Eye, desperate to prevent a disaster, had no time to act. The Order of the Eye of God had opened. The third calamity begun. Time loops spread across Argula, opening in streets of Trisk. The nightmarish creatures emerged, indiscriminately attacking both rebels and loyalists alike. House Umbra responded first, mobilizing its forces against chaos. Armed with limbric weapons, their warriors pushed back the monstrous invaders. The Argulan military secured Dalglav fortress, aided in the mysterious fighters as scholars proto-martyrs worked frantically to close the time loops.
I'm
The
back,
battles.
but busy, so I'll be listening.
No problem, G. Thanks for coming back. The battle raged slowly at significant cost. House Umbra and the surviving Argulan forces eradicated the creatures. The calamity was over. Costly victory. Trisk lay in ruins. Argula had lost its mother. The woman who sought to shield her people from suffering had instead drowned them in it. Scholars, burdened by yet another failure, were left to pick up the pieces. Once again, Hadia would need to heal. Fourth calamity, the betrayer. Hadia's darkest hour unfolds as heretics' mechanizations ignite a catastrophe. Kingdom united and fractured. Despite the scars of the past calamities, Hadia thrived under King Marcus. The monarchy established a decree of holy symmetry, sought to unify the once divided Sabinian reformists and Palamist traditionalists. Under its term, each ruling monarch would sever ties to their noble house, and the heir would be required to marry someone on the opposite faith. Hope flourished as Marcus Slab of House Umbra ascended the throne alongside Queen Viga, failure of House Aster. The Labidian alliance was dissolved, replaced by a kingdom where noble lands became duchies and baronies. Both churches secured positions in court, ensuring religious balance. For a time it seemed the new order would hold, but one man raised the shadow of war would see it undone. The prodigy turned heretic. Born between the second and third calamities, Francis Aldrich was raised in a strict Palamist household where discipline ordered cruelty. His parents forced him to kneel before the eye of Sethrus for hours, sometimes days. The symbol loomed in every room. Its omnipresent gaze haunted his childhood. Surviving the third calamity, Francis concluded that the creatures were inevitable, a punishment for humanity's weakness. Resistance, he believed, was futile. Is he part Borg from Star Trek? Despite his upbringing, Francis excelled in academia, earning a place with prestigious schools. Secretly operated the Order of the Eye. His intellect was unmatched, but so was his arrogance. Though the scholars recognized his potential, his hubris kept him from fully entering their ranks. The Order never entrusted him with their most sacred knowledge, their mission to stop the calamities. Suspecting he would soon be cast out, Francis broke into forbidden library. He barely had time to run a page before the full guard seized him, but in these few moments he ripped out and concealed several pages containing secrets of the time loops and predicted the date of the next calamity. Expelled and disgraced, Francis wandered the forests of Abraham alone with his stolen knowledge. It was there, in the depths of his solitude, that he claimed to hear the voice of TR. The rise of serpents of TR. Hallucinogenic visions led Francis to a revelation. TR, the two-headed serpent, was the true god of humanity. Sethrus, he preached, had long abandoned them. Time had come to embrace raw passion, to surrender to desires long suppressed by Palamist and Reformist doctrine. At first he was dismissed as a lunatic. Villagers drove him away, priests condemned him, and crowds jeered. But he remained steadfast. Tyr was merely testing his faith. Slowly, the outcast came to him, the disgraced, the rejected, the humiliated, those persecuted by the Palamist Church. They found solace in his words. Soon the servants of TR were born. Their doctrine, a direct affront in the Palamist Church, spread like wildfire. Alarmed, the Church formed the Inquisition of Palam, led by Grand Inquisitor Damien, tasked with wiping out the cult. The Inquisition swept through Umbraham, unleashing mock trials, burnings, and brutal purges. The servants of TR fled eastward, seeking refuge in reformist lands. Queen Viga's defiance. Unlike the Palamists, the Sabinian reformists tolerated the servants of TR. In an act of goodwill, Queen Viga allowed them to settle in Gehenna, donating the land to build their first shrine, the Sacrament of the Fallen. The decision infuriated the Palamist Church and King Marcus, who saw it as treachery. "You failed to consult me when you created your Inquisition," Queen Viga retorted. Tensions at court escalated. Meanwhile, in the Plains of Mist, the servants of TR isolated themselves behind high walls, accepting only traders through a single river checkpoint. Locals grew uneasy, rumors swirled, disappearing travelers, unnatural sounds, strange lights at night. The Queen's advisors urged her to investigate. She sent her most trusted diplomat, Lady Sophia Morton, to parley with Francis. It was a journey that ended in horror. The betrayer's trap. Sophia never returned. Instead, a single survivor limped back to court carrying her severed head in a basket. That's nice. Enraged, Queen Viga ordered an invasion. The Jehenian army, reinforced by the Palmist Inquisition, laid siege to the Sacrament of the Fallen. For weeks, the cultists had held the walls with fanatical resolve. Then, without warning, they abandoned their defenses. The army stormed the compound, expecting a final battle. Instead, they found eerie silence. Francis sat on his makeshift throne, serene, smiling. His followers knelt in circles, whispering prayers and singing hymns. The soldiers hesitated, then raised their swords. The cultists' a time loop ignited. Francis had timed everything perfectly. Another calamity had erupted. Damn. The Jehenian army and Palmist inquisitors fled, scrambling to contain the horrific creatures emerging all around them, but the real horror lay elsewhere. Francis had sent cultists across Hadia to sacrifice themselves simultaneously. Time loops opened across the kingdom. Cities, villages, and armies of Hadia found themselves battling monsters at every front. The aftermath. After significant losses, the combined forces of Hadia quelled the fourth calamity, but an unimaginable cost. Francis, captured alive, was sentenced to a decade of torture before finally dying in his cell. His followers were hunted. His Gospel of TR seized the Inquisition, and his diaries detailing his theories on time loops were archived by the scholars. The betrayer was no more. His legacy scarred Hadia and wounded the scholars, wounds that would never truly close. The fourth calamity had come and gone. The Order of the Eye would never be the same. The fifth calamity. The Blood Queen, the deadliest calamity in Hadia's history, did not begin with the creatures, but with ambition, betrayal, and vengeance. Non-interference. Fourth calamity left the Order of the Eye divided. Internal disputes raged over their role in political affairs, but the scholars ultimately agreed. Their interference had failed. Manipulating kings, swaying the clergy, and orchestrating assassinations had proven too volatile, too costly. Instead, they withdrew. Most of their spy network was dismantled, save for a few well-placed informants tasked with observing, not intervening. If another war arose, the scholars would let it burn Hadia to the ground. From its ashes, they would rebuild a better world. Long memories. The wounds of war do not heal overnight. Naragula and Abraham reformist communities became scapegoats. Isolated and targeted, they suffered frequent attacks, while Palmist traditionalists, bitter from years of reformist rule, fed the flames of resentment. The high priest of the reformists and the arch-cleric of the Palmist bickered, accusing each other of feeling the unrest, but the conflict escalated when Queen Viga announced she was expecting an heir. Under the decree of holy symmetry, the next king would be Sabinian reformist, as the monarchy required alternating faiths. This did not sit well with the Palmist Church, which had recently elected hardline traditionalists to its leadership. They would not sit idly by while another reformist ruled Hadia. The Boy King. Years later, King Marcus passed peacefully in his sleep, leaving behind a stable but fragile kingdom. His son, Garland, ascended to the throne. Raised as a Sabinian reformist, Garland was gentle, kind, and forgiving, but lacked the discipline and confidence to lead. His mother, Queen Viga, worried for his future, but she passed before she could see him wed. Alone and vulnerable, Garland turned to his Palmist advisors for guidance. They seized the opportunity. They handpicked his queen. The veterans' people. Lady Harbor Rivetta of Argula was not a typical noblewoman, raised by her uncle, Thomas Rivetta, a veteran of the Fourth Calamity. She was trained as a warrior rather than a lady. Thomas had survived the butchery of the Fallen, one of the bloodiest battles of the Fourth Calamity, and emerged as a hardened Palmist traditionalist. Thomas raised Harbour as he would have a son, ensuring she knew how to fight, lead, and survive. Harbour was beautiful but battle-worn, often seen covered in dust, smelling of horse and sweat. Palamas clergy saw her as a perfect candidate that they whispered into her pious heart, convincing her that Sethras chose her to restore Hadia to Palamas rule. By the time she married King Garland, the coup was already underway. Seeds of hatred. The reconstruction of Argula had left the kingdom financially strained. The late Queen Vega had halted funding, fearing an economic collapse. Her decision left Argula in poverty. As hardship spread, Palamas traditionalists blamed the reformists for their suffering. Hate-filled sermons, nationalist rhetoric, and conspiracies flourished. The Palamas took action. Queen Harbour redirected the funds of Argula not for rebuilding, but for strengthening its military. She also funded the construction of her death camps and towers all over Hadia, including most notorious one, the Urca Spire. Her uncle, Thomas Ravetta, was named as Supreme Commander of Hadia's forces. Conscription orders were passed, and Argula and Umbrahan began raising an unstoppable army. Meanwhile, reformist communities in Palamas territories suffered segregation, arrests, and attacks. The Order of the Eye watched and did nothing. The Night of the Sharp Daggers. The coup d'etat was swift, brutal, and absolute. Under cover of darkness, Palamas forces stormed the capital, assassinating every reformist, noble, and high priest in their sleep. By dawn, King Garland, broken and alone, renounced his Sabinian faith. In Palamas' held hand, reformists were arrested, rounded up, and sent to death camps. The Sabinian genocide had begun. Two massive Palamas armies marched into reformist territory. Jehanian fell first, its people unprepared for war. Reformist priests were beaten, burned, and crucified. Asteria resisted. Its warriors had survived the forced calamity. Though outnumbered, they inflicted devastating losses on the Palamas forces. Still, it was only a matter of time. The Palamas army reunited one unstoppable force, pushing the reformists into their last stronghold, Lausius, the capital of Asteria. Last stand. The siege began inside the gates. The Sabinian reformists knew their fate. Rumors of the mass executions and extermination camps had reached their ears. They made one final decision. They would die fighting. At dawn, the city gates burst open. Starved, desperate, and filled with hatred, every soldier, every citizen of Lausius charged the Palamas army in one last stand. The bloodshed was unimaginable, savagery beyond reason. Then the Eye of God opened. Time loops appeared through the battlefield, trapping the slaughter in endless repetition. Feeling a flood of monstrous creatures, the Palamas army collapsed. In the rest Hadia. I don't know if that's a typo. Inside the mass execution camps, time loops opened and civilians were being slaughtered. For the fifth time, a calamity had struck in Hadia. Tabula Rasa. The scholars were ready. The Fall Guard was unleashed. Time loops were shut down. King Garland and Queen Harbour were assassinated. Though Queen Harbour's name was erased from history, her legacy drenched in blood remains. Only her Arcus spire still stands today, sealed shut as a reminder of the dangers of unchecked passions. In whispers in secret circles, Palamas and reformists still remembered, and Hadia never forgets. The war was over. Hundreds of thousands were dead. The monarchy was shattered, and for the first time, the Order of the Eye took direct control. A puppet monarchy was installed, ruled by scholars disguised as kings and queens. A new holiday. The Carnival and the Week of Peace, upon established in the reshape cultural memory and ensure control. For over 1,000 years, the calamity ceased. The scholars believed they had won. They were wrong. Very, very interesting. Alright. So, let's go back to the marshes. Want to see if we can further upgrade our weapons.
I'm ready to make my move.
Good. We should rendezvous at Lake.
Wait.
Lieutenant, you are relieved of command.
Uh-oh.
On what grounds, Corporal?
Put these on. You are to report back for debriefing. Stop!
Arabeth? Arabeth! Ah, fuck!
Remy, I'm sure she's all right.
Unlikely.
I know a survivor when I see one. Do you think she knows you were going to say Lake Sinan?
What difference does it make? We got work to do.
Hmm. Alright. See if we can upgrade our weapons.
Need upgrades?
Yup. Sure do. Nope. Must have max level. Same with that. Okay. Nope. Nothing to give him. Okay. Alright. Can't think of anything else we had to do here. I do want to go back to place of hills. I want to say there was a chest or something around. Wonder if one of these keys that we've picked up along the ways. Can potentially open it. I want to say it was like through the various doors that we opened. Like the snake door, the moon door, all that stuff. Here's the snake door. Wait a minute. Yeah, here we go. Go through here. I want to say it was up by the time loop. It's up this way. I want to say it's like somewhere around here. Can some of these ruins here. Aha. Oh shit. Okay. Tombstone. Slivers enhanced. Is that the one I have on the greatsword? It is. I think the elite is better than... Yeah. Okay. Alright. Okay, well, at least we got that. Now, I did look up what those cryptic clues unlock, and apparently it unlocks a computer back in the library. Leaf library. So let's go back there. I know, I honestly never would have figured that out because that was so long ago that we did the library. Like, I never would have remembered that there was a computer there.
Still here. That was a lot of reading earlier.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't make ITN.
Yeah, I was
Couldn't
quite...
make out what you were reading over the noise of washing dishes.
Yeah, it's all good. It was another one of those big documents that we got from after giving Tanya a bunch of research material. We've gotten, that's like the third one that we've gotten. The second one I didn't read because like it was like late in the stream and would have been there for 20 minutes reading the document. But those, they are lengthy but very very interesting. What the heck is this? Haitian border map. Come back to this place and I miss stuff. Okay, so where was this computer now? I want to say it was upstairs. Yeah, it's a computer over here, but we got that before. Yeah, I want to say it's upstairs. It's going downstairs. Okay, so the code is apparently, like if you look at all these cryptic clues, if I can find one. Is it this? Yeah. So apparently these all spell out Yankel, which was like one of the things that we read about in this area. So if you spell all this out, it's 731596. Yeah. Grand Conspiracy. Fellow truth seekers, if you have made it this far, then you must be as interested in the absolute truth as I am. I will outline my findings here for you to judge for yourselves. I have a feeling many of you have already known this to be true intuitively. There is something not quite right in this country. We've all felt it. Let me come right out and say it. I have found conclusive evidence that we are being experimented on by travelers from another world for their own nefarious purposes. Yes, aliens are among us, hiding in plain sight. They have taken control of Haiti, and the globalists are covering it up. What lies below? I was a teenager in the early 50s, but I can still remember the sudden flurry of activity around Mount Obeck. Barricades going up overnight, armed men dressed in black standing guard around the mountain. What were they hiding? I believe the alien craft landed here in Haiti around that time. Their craft burrowed under Mount Obeck, and it's been there ever since. It was just before Yankel seed power in 52. Coincidence? Why Mount Obeck? Because it stands on an incredible, powerful magnetic locus. If you look at the old historic maps, you can see multiple ancient ley lines converging on Mount Obeck. Follow the landmarks. Everything is publicly available here at the library. See for yourselves. The ancient Haitians were highly attuned to these kinds of things. That's why they were founded on our major cities on the ley lines. Just look at our provincial capitals. The Tris-Lassius line intersects the Golmore-Labina line right at the foot of Mount Obeck. The aliens would undoubtedly have attracted to it. Then in the 60s, they faked the moon landing to try to cover up the warp trail left when the ship arrived. With the whole world looking up into space, they needed to distract so we wouldn't question the traits in the sky, or trails in the sky. Okay, infiltration. Let's start with Grand Yankel. Why would the most powerful man in Haiti suddenly off himself in 82? He had consolidated all the power. Think about it. Whereas the gun he supposedly shot himself with, it only makes sense when you realize that he was nothing but a puppet placed here to keep us in line. Something changed in the 50s. The big players suddenly took an interest in little old Haiti, international agencies, multinational corporations, research firms. Even today, 40 years later, I still see the black-clad agents skulking around. Surely you've seen them too. Why are they still here? Who are they? Why would they come here, you ask? Good question. Power and money. Big pharma, weapons manufacturing, energy research, media conglomerates, child trafficking, all of it. They're here among us, pulling the strings for their extraterrestrial masters. I don't know what kind of wicked bargain they made, but they sold us out. I've suspected for a long time that they're putting something in the water to rile us up. I would advise everyone to stop drinking it immediately. I haven't drunk from the public water system in decades, and I can finally see it clearly. They need us divided, fighting each other, so we can't see what they're doing. How we have on sniffing around, more globalists looking to dig their claws into this country. Modern Haiti is just a giant experiment, and we are the subjects. Wake up. Okay, so now we have the game is turned into the X-Files, I guess. Alright, so I guess it's time to go back to Lake Simon. Place the last keystone, see what that gets us. Somehow I have a feeling that's not immediately going to be the end of the game. Oh boy, what do we got here?
I wouldn't say I like interruptions. I never understood why people need breaks. I was surprised to find out your mother worked for us. She had quite a reputation. My employers came across her by chance. People with nothing to lose are the best candidates for covert operations. What caught their eye was that this prisoner seemed to know a great deal about Hadia. Things that aren't common knowledge. Foe guards, limbic weapons, the Order of the Eye, and the Vigil.
What's your fucking point?
We didn't know about the Vigil's existence until your mother was recruited. She gave us an extensive list of names. In exchange, we trained her and assigned her some men. And one by one, the Vigil began to disappear. Have car accidents. Die of heart attacks. Very efficient. But then, she started to show signs of slowing down. Especially when it came time to take care of Vitalis.
Careful.
So my employers presented your mother with falsified phone records. It implicated Vitalis as the one who called the police the night she attempted to smuggle you out.
You fucking scumbags!
I told you I know how to bring out the worst in people. Oh, if you weren't bound to that chair, you'd lunge across the table and choke the life out of me.
It would be much worse than that.
Revenge is a much more potent manipulator. Control is knowing which buttons to press. Pretending not to care about anything is the illusion of control. Look at you, just like her. Compromised by your emotions. Fun's over. Let's continue.
Damn, it's messed up. That is messed up. Yeah, hang on one sec, guys. So I think we can open this limbic chest at the bottom here. If we didn't do it already. I don't think we did. Could be wrong though. We did. So that means there's another one here then. Really don't feel like running through this forge all over again trying to find a limbic chest. At least not at the moment. Wonder if it's in this room over here. I doubt it, but yeah, they were saying something about a waterfall, right? If it's in this room. What the fuck? Just through the... Jesus. Yep, it's right here. Delirium. Acute delirium swells and grips on virginities in front of you, eroding their stance. Have to try that out. That's crazy. I was like hiding behind this. I don't remember. Did I actually notice that when we were here originally? I might have. That's crazy though. Is there like anything else down here? Nope. That's funny. Okay. Try and put that on the thingies here. We got the shield, we got the rapture, gluttony. Yeah, let's switch this one out for the one we just got. Delirium. Bending. Okay, then what we got? Yeah, that wasn't that great, if I remember right. That's the shield. Okay. All right. What do we have in here? Oh. Hey, boys. Ow. Oh, I like that. Okay, guys. Alright, calm down. That is awesome, I like that. More, huh? You guys just like spawning infinitely, or? Okay. They're done, I guess. Jeez. A crap ton of those dudes. What a rush. As shadow and silence weave the twilight's veil, what a rush. I seek thee, and in embrace I shall fade into your arms. What dread stirs in my breast, yet still thou art sovereign above all. Sing this in your head, sing it again and again, till you reach the light. Geek.
According to my calculations, you're headed towards Mount Obek. Oh, imagine the time it took the Fall Guard to dig through all this rock. The dedication. Wait. Remy? Remy? Remy?
Tanya, sound off. Tanya.
Just kinda going slow just to make sure there's no, like, little side paths.
Remy? Remy? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, loud and clear.
I was afraid of this. The drone's communication array can't penetrate through all that rock. I told you we should have upgraded the drone.
Tanya, you're breaking up again.
Remy? 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 Shit. I'll try boosting this again.
Oh, come on. Why do I feel like I'm in a really bad long-distance phone call commercial?
Can you hear me now?
I'm here.
I've boosted the array to its limits. This is probably the last time we talk. I think you're almost there. Wherever there is. Don't take my word for it, though. The drone's readings are erratic. Take care, Remy. Stop the calamity. Good luck.
Tanya. Well, Cappy, finally. Alone at last.
Got a trophy. Boy. Almost want to go back to the APC because I feel like now we're getting towards the end here. Cobalt orb, gold orb, emerald, crimson, and a prism. Scroll, failsafe, an ancient scroll that speaks cryptically of a failsafe plan found in the Eye of God antechamber. Revered founders of the Order watch over the Eye. Unmatched is their knowledge of the limbic spheres. Has the reckless keeper of the sphere of vigilance. Gabron the brave, keeper of the sphere of terror. Tex the unimpressed keeper of the sphere of admiration. Direct the humorless keeper of the sphere of ecstasy. Zagreb, the passionate keeper of the sphere of loathing. Jish, the temperate keeper of the sphere of rage. Belgrand, the serene keeper of the sphere of grief. From the weary keeper of the sphere of amazement. Once the orbs returned to their keepers, the failsafe shall be revealed. The means of initiation then rests solely on the shoulders of the full guard. Okay. What's this? For the love of our country, set the recipe with you. hell? Where? Oh. Weird little spot here. Like all containers and stuff. Damn. There's definitely no way back at this point. Alright, but I think this is probably a good spot to leave the stream. So this is probably what I imagine probably be the last area of the game. So we have made it. It's crazy. We're about to end this pretty soon. So stay tuned for the next one. We'll continue through Mount Obek and see what we're going to get into here. So thanks everybody for joining, and we will see you in the next one. Night G. Have a good one.